show a lot of old Aphromoo plays that he's been able to create with Johnsun. And Thresh Varus has definitely enough kill pressure to try and work with in facing a Kalista Nautilus lane. I expect junglers to be pretty heavily attracted to the bottom side of the map for both teams, but especially for Dignitas, as Lee Sin can be the one to really create those plays for them.
Yep, curious to see if Dardoch can replicate the success he had with the Ignite Graves, with the regular no Ignite Lee Sin. Certainly though, if Dardoch and the rest of the top side for Dignitas can find a bit more consistency, goes a long way in just making this team have a much better second half of the split, because they only picked up their first win yesterday, but they certainly seem to be on the right track after many different changes. So I like what we saw. Hopefully it continues here on the Dig side for Fly. Certainly looking to bounce back here. They've already been upset once. They were firmly the second place team, it felt like, for a while, and now that competition is between other teams, I think, at this point. FlyQuest going to have to win a couple to get themselves back into the conversation for second best team in the LCS.
Well, they have Solo on possibly his favorite champion, spamming so many Sett games. That's definitely a comfort pick for him. PowerOfEvil feels really confident in his kassadin. I know he's always super willing to pick that counter pick, and should have plenty of sustain here. Took the fleet and should be able to deal with Phoenix Azir early push, no problem. That is the big weakness, though. Of course, Azir should be able to get shove on the kassadin, and should be able to get some early timings.
I'm going to be honest with you, Kobe. Checking through the keystones here, and everything looks normal, with a single exception. I don't know if I've ever seen Conqueror on Azir. I'm not saying it's bad, and I'm not saying people haven't done it, but of all of the keystones I have seen on Azir, I don't know if I've ever seen this one. Okay,
so I definitely have seen Conqueror. Lethal Tempo is probably the more common of the yellow keystones for him, but Conqueror is going to be also for kind of extended fights and being able to get that sustain through them as well. So still viable. Dardoch gets his top-oriented path going early. Remember, he did gank for Lourlo repeatedly in the Graves Ornn combo, and they might look to try and punish Solo early. Punishing Solo has not been something that a lot of teams have been able to do. I think Solo's been really good for FlyQuest, especially when he's on the Sett, and it is pretty hard as Ornn, but you know, that might be an unexpected early focus for them if they can, you know, Lourlo can try and set it up with the knockup, and Dardoch can bring the extra damage. It's just so hard because all Solo has to do is hold his W, and if you don't expend that early, then should be able to be just fine in the 1v2. Santorin, meanwhile, early mid.
Yeah, Phoenix pushing, and this is a nice wrap here from the Volibear. Going to run in, gets the stun, the flash already out for Phoenix, and that's an easy chomp from Santorin. It's first blood for the Volibear.
Flash for flash, a boom. Nice wraparound gank there for Santorin. Gets the kassadin rolling early. That just takes away all of the early Azir push. Even though Phoenix can teleport back out to lane, if you give kassadin breathing room early, try and get him to the level 6, it becomes just such an easy life. Here's another look at it. Pretty easy. Santorin just did full blue quadrant, actually. So this is a pretty quick level 3 for Volibear, because it's a bit unexpected that he comes from just bottom side after starting blue, but just does the 3 blue camps to get his level 3, and then right on over towards mid lane for the wraparound behind Phoenix.
Yeah, really well played there by Fly to get that first blood. Dig, though, off to the races in bottom lane here. Slight CS lead, but to get that first wave pushed in, Aphromoo proc the demolish on the tower, so using that Varus and Thresh pretty effectively here. I think certainly expected to win in any sort of poke or protracted battle. I think all-in, certainly. Ignite Nautilus plus Kalista should feel pretty good, but Varus really doesn't want to let you anywhere near either champion in his lane if it can help it, so doing a nice job of keeping Mash and IgNar at arm's length for now.
All right, Santorin going to get the recall off too, and since he got the first blood on Volibear, it looks like he's going straight into stats, Blue Smite, and just the Ruby Crystal here. Definitely going to be tanky boy, kind of hard to deal with early. Without the flash, though, the ganks become a lot more difficult to pull off. I think the goal was accomplished in mid lane, and now it's pretty easy for PowerOfEvil to try and sustain his way up till the level 6, just has the Doran shield, and you continually go in on the minion wave to proc your fleet and get your mana back with your W proc, and he still has his teleport ready, so it looks like they have secured step number 1 of the Kassadin game plan.
Yep, feeling comfy. We'll see what that first bite is whenever he does want to go back. Santorin, though, going to pressure down this bottom side of the map and try and relieve the pressure that has been building on Mash and IgNar. I'll see if Johnsun and Aphro play back for long. Aphro going to reward it, though, and now they'll be straight back to pushing. So Santorin maybe will have to revisit this lane again.
Solo trying to get the push onto Lourlo as well. With the Cole purchase, he knows it's pretty hard to get your solo kills onto Ornn unless Ornn messes up, and should be able to get a pretty good value out of that Cole. Still gives you the offensive stats, your on hit and your damage, and he doesn't really care about too much of the missing defense since Sett has such good innate sustain.
Built up the Bramble Vest as well for Lourlo, so just going shopping with the passive as the Dragon will be started nice and early here for FlyQuest. Aphromoo did spot him, I believe, with that surprise bloom. Yep.
They're going off the recall from Johnsun, so they know that they've got about 20 seconds before Johnsun can get there, and 20 seconds is easy time to kill a Dragon. Should finish it up, no problem. That's the recall for the Berserker Greaves Johnsun took early. After taking that, Mash now goes for his as well.
Easy enough for Kalista to move in with the rest of the squad to clean up that Dragon, so just good awareness there for FlyQuest in general, getting themselves that first Dragon. Dardoch, though, kind of out onto the map, maybe looking for some sort of scuffle here around the Crab, is going to dance his way just barely back into range of the sweeper, but does tag Santorin. But Solo's already down here with Lourlo being pushed in, so despite Ornn having ulti, no real contest here for this Crab. Santorin's going to go ahead and grab it.
Yeah, level 6 Kassadin, so there's plenty of mobility on PowerOfEvil to follow up, and Solo constantly has the push. This top lane does so much for the team that Crab will be easily picked up by Santorin. Again, second roam here, more vision put down for FlyQuest around the mid lane.
Yeah, you can see Fenix this time. There was a blue question mark ping down there, so was aware of the possibility. Does want to be careful right now, because even though he's building a wave, if it gets frozen like it did actually around that first blood, then it could be troublesome for Fenix, who doesn't have his flash up just yet, but looks like he's able to build the wave up enough to get it pushing in, so he should be just fine, as Dardoch's going to go ahead and clear out these Krugs and get himself pretty close to level 6 alongside Santorin. There's been quite a lot of farming between the two junglers so far, apart from Santorin's early pressure into mid lane. So it looks like they are just going to be happy to wait for maybe their first jungle item to be done, as they are now 6 on either side.
Teleport bottom, though. This is it. This is the play.
Oh, Dardoch's going to see Santorin now, but already on they go. Solo's here, ready for the dunk, and that's the AD move back in. The flash out, though, but it's not going to be enough. No, Johnsun with the heal is actually going to be okay, because everyone else from Dig is here, and here's Lourlo with a big ulti, finds the 2-man knock-up. But no follow-up available. Phoenix getting chased by PoE as well, so the fight could be back on a full-on 5v5 Kobe in the bot lane. Lourlo gets the knock-up onto Solo. That's a good playback as well from Aphro. The damage is good as Phoenix is able to get it. Now the hook from Aphro is the rest of Fly moving in, but Phoenix shoves them back in. PowerOfEvil, though, starting to dance through the team fight, but he's been tagged up by Dardoch. Flashing in for Dardoch. He needs to finish off the kill, and he will. But on the other side of it all, the rest of Dig starting to fall as Phoenix actually fighting out on Santorin. He is going to live somehow. And now back to the alcove he goes. Mash. He's going to try and get the counter kill, but he's not going to get it just yet. The flash in for Lourlo is going to give Phoenix the double kill, and IgNar, he can't do anything. It's Dignitas that win the party.
It was really funny because we were about to set up. The level 6s from the both bottom lanes brings the crowd control. That brings the ability to set up these fights. But the teleport was on level 5 for both Varus and Kalista. And Johnsun and Mash both end up leveling halfway through that fight, which makes it extended and it makes it more explosive than the first swipe kind of would suggest. So teleport flank from Solo. This is a classic from FlyQuest. He gets great positioning on Johnsun. You see he ults him back into the rest of the team, but Johnsun immediately flashes, and there's no follow-up after Solo gets the stun onto Johnsun. No damage they're able to deal. Then they kite back, and now they're waiting for Mash to get level 6. Then they get the re-engage as PoE comes down. Mash focuses trying to get these minion waves, and when Solo gets hit with the edge of this knockup, Dardoch actually takes the Q in on Lee Sin. Pretty close to getting bursted on that wall. PowerOfEvil has to flash, doesn't finish off Aphromoo, which allows Dardoch to follow him on Lee Sin, landing the Q, and then Mash gets level 6 off of that kill. Using his ultimate there, dodged away by Dardoch. IgNar misses, and they're not able to get the knock-up, which means Fenix could just kite back into the alcove and doesn't go down on the Azir, racking up those extra kills. Definitely going to be a scary thing with the Azir now. 3 kills to his name for Fenix. Meanwhile, PowerOfEvil's Kassadin didn't get any of those last hits because when he flashed in to try and finish off Aphromoo, there were like maybe 10, 12 HP left on the Thresh that did not allow him to get any of the actual gold from it.
Yeah, very dramatic in the bot lane. You know, it looked like maybe a 3v3, and then before you know it, Kobe, a full-on extended 5v5, where Fenix is a big winner, as you mentioned. We'll see if he can extend his lead at all. He's currently 12 CS ahead of PowerOfEvil, who is still looking to finish off that Rod of Ages, and Dardoch also got the Rift Herald in and amongst that replay.
Fenix had such a good ultimate as well. The Azir wall cut off a lot of the follow-up, and that's kind of what kind of led to PoE being the 1v4 basically flashing in, because Azir's Fenix had cut off the rest of FlyQuest. But now Dardoch's trying to defend around mid, kicks the bear right back out, and should be able to escape no problem. 3-person roam from FlyQuest just results in summoners, ultimate trade.
Yeah, here's Aphro and Johnsun though back in the mid lane. So they are going to go ahead and move on to this Mountain Drake here. And don't think Fly are really in the neighborhood for a contest, especially with Solo staying top without his teleport. So Dignitas are going to even up the Dragons. They'll continue looking just fine here in the early stages of the game. So no early Soul Snowball. It is just, again, I think, paying attention to what else happens in these next 5 minutes or so. You know, how much further ahead can Dig get with their mid laner, or can Fly stabilize the game and look to find more plays once the cooldowns do come back around?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm definitely going to be tracking teleport ward flanks, because Dignitas have pretty good scaling with Azir and Ornn items that will be handed out. But of course, FlyQuest are always looking towards Kassadin for PoE. Other than the Kassadin, though, a lot of the playmaking here for FlyQuest does come a bit earlier. You know, Kalista can spike on just Blade of the Ruin King, one item, trying to create plays with IgNar with the double CC ultimates there. And it's really going to be a question of, can they get those deeper wards in these flanks around to capitalize and feed more money into the Kassadin.
Dardoch going to go ahead and finish up this red buff. He does still have the Herald up for a little bit longer. Got about 30% of the duration left on the eye, so he's going to want to drop it pretty soon. There's a minute and a half to get the turret plates out of the deal as well, as Fenix just continuing to sweep away farm. PowerOfEvil is going for a pretty greedy build here, but we'll hold that thought, as good ulti there on Tamash is going to force out the cleanse. It actually almost jumps onto IgNar, but no extension on the Chain of Corruption, but just an easy little poke there for Dig to get a summoner.
I think it's going to be a pretty long game, actually, with the first 2 dragons going split here and gold remaining so even. We do have a roam up the river with the bottom lane CC, but Dardoch already sees it out.
Yeah, good hook, good Fate's Calder from Mash. Has to pull the support out of there, but the flash play in from Aphro is going to keep the fight going. The box is up as well. Johnsun getting jumped, but he flashes out of there. Dig getting a little bit low, but they do take down Mash, and now going to force IgNar to flash away as well. Nice angle there for Dig. Fly just couldn't get the counter kill.
Yeah, FlyQuest trying to make a play through the river up here, though, but Aphromoo just turns right on him. Smells blood in the water and just runs down Mash, even with double summoners and Kalista ultimate up. Aphromoo just charges him straight down through the knock-up. Mash tries to flash away, Andy's the cleanse, but Dignitas finish him off. Johnsun and Fenix just burn right through him. Rift Herald activated afterwards for the tower, and Dignitas, riding the momentum off their first victory in the LCS yesterday, also take down a first tower here to open up the map.
Yeah, they're up about 1,500 gold. They've got that first tower. Fenix has got 8 stacks on his Dark Seal. Looking good there on the Azir. Certainly everything is falling into place. And Kobe, you mentioned this actually last game, I believe. We hadn't really seen much of it yet, but Johnsun is going to do us proud. On-hit Varus today with that Blade of the Ruin King now finished.
Yeah, I mean, Volibear stacks a lot of health. So it's very effective against Volibear. And Sett going Trinity Force means that Solo is going to be looking for a bit more burst plays, more damage-oriented Sett. But definitely the other looks that is still viable here for extra on hit. I think it's probably the best at dealing with the health stacking Volibear because it just has the Ninja Tabbies and then will be a bunch of HP.
And I don't know if he would have made, a different choice. Its compositions were different. I imagine he would have. But I will say that this kind of build, I think, to me, speaks more to Johnsun's general style. He's very teamfight oriented as an AD. I think he has been quite good in lane alongside Aphro especially. And they've carved out a lot more space for themselves in the early stages of games, even in this split as well for Dig. But Johnsun, to me, his Ashe dancing around teamfights, having good utility usage was kind of the thing that I remember when he burst onto the scene in the LCS. So for me, this more on-hit build where you can just output DPS all the time certainly speaks to how I've observed Johnsun playing the game as well. So I like it from that angle as well.
All right, can we get the split push then? It looks like Fenix gets pushed on top side and starting up the Rift Herald. Solo and Lourlo both have their teleport, so they could join to make this another one of the 5-on-5s. But it's kind of hard for FlyQuest without the extra summoners for their carries. I think Fenix right now having Flash and having so much money and Nashers is done for him. And just Fenix is already a powerhouse for Dig. Burns right through the objective for them. Shove the lane for himself and then just slide back over to pick up the other half of the lane on the way back. And that'll be Herald number 2 for Dig.
Yeah, like you said, potentially a long game here. PowerOfEvil is certainly in no rush, Kobe. He went Rod of Ages and Tier, so he is double stacking up the late game kassadin items for that massive mana pool.
He has to be. He is their main hope for the late game. It's all riding on the Kassa win condition. They have to get him to level 16 for the super low cooldown on the ultimate and the extra damage. And if he's going double mana scaling items, he's trying to find the full synergy there to really spike towards the end of the game there. But even if you do that, you are facing a Thresh, which is kind of hard to deal with, trying to get around that peel. Kicked from Dardoch, and of course they have the beefy front line of Ornn. So PowerOfEvil is going to have to play well in addition to having the Kassa win condition.
Alright, well, dragging over to Dig, so continuing to get objectives and advantages for themselves here. Still keeping the gold lead pretty small between the two sides. FlyQuest at least are only 1,000 gold behind. But Fenix is continuing to gain up in power. We'll see if he can be back in time to save this top outer tower, because PowerOfEvil is likely going to be pushing through here. Fenix, though, not going to use the TP. Will hold onto the cooldown for now, as Johnsun and Aphro are just going to clean out the mid lane here, wanting to make sure this outer tower and mid stays nice and healthy.
Yeah, they're also trying to keep their vision between the lanes here, so there's no extra rotation through to quickly cut anyone off. Lourlo's keeping the bottom turret very healthy. PowerOfEvil really wants to finish off this top one, gets some local gold, but Fenix returns in time.
There's that Rift as well. Unleashed here by Dardoch in the mid lane. And that might be enough to finish off the tower. It's going to be close. It is enough. Good calculations there by Dardoch. So make it 2 towers to 0 now for Dig as they continue to open up space. Santorin, they're going to flash in there, stunning up Dardoch, but the Stormbringer is not going to be able to reach Aphro as he lanterns and flashes his jungler out to safety.
Aphromoo just looks so clean this split, even though Dig had such a rough early start for themselves. We're seeing the resurgence before our eyes. Against FlyQuest here, putting up a very good fight, running straight down the mid lane now. Fenix still has 8 stacks on his Dark Seal too, so he's feeling extremely powerful. Once he's able to finish the Leandries, it becomes imperative that FlyQuest get a flank. Solo does get one.
Hit for Fly, looking for something, gets the dunk. Aphro is going to be the one pulled into the team fight, but IgNar going to have to be fates called out of there. Aphro is dead, but Dig can chase potentially. Santorin gets tagged. Dardoch, does he dare take it? He won't as the shield comes up from the Volibear W.
Yeah, kicks him out there. FlyQuest could be happy to get away without losing anyone in the exchange, as they do get the kill onto Aphromoo. Lourlo pushes in one more wave, and they take away a few resources from the jungle. that's the flank that you want onto a higher value target though. Using that flank and getting just the kill onto Aphromoo is a bit more of a stalling move for FlyQuest rather than pushing the game forward in their favor. PowerOfEvil has still yet to get a last hit on any of these kills, but that being said, he's got 7 stacks on his Rod of Ages, so 3 more minutes there, and the Steraphs now will start stacking a lot quicker.
Yeah, getting closer, at least level 13 as well. It's very important to keep track of the levels on that castle win condition. But still a little while away from the coveted level 16. As Dig will just dance back and forth. Looks like both teams going to be doing some resetting of the vision and the map, because it is time for that next dragon up in just under 2 minutes.
Looks like they could evolve another strat for themselves here for FlyQuest with Solo. When he's able to get Blade of the Ruin King. Oh, actually, Death's Dance he's going for the full sustain here. So Trinity Force, Death's Dance. Solo should be able to move Lourlo around a little bit easier because he can fully sustain off the minion waves after going for those trades, even though there's a Bramble-Vis onto Lourlo. And that's what's been keeping it kind of stalled as far as the split push for FlyQuest. You know, they've got PowerOfEvil trying to push it ahead in the side lane versus Phoenix Azir, but they've had a bit of a blocker on the other side because Ornn with the Bramble-Vis Sunfire can just kind of soak up those minion waves and even just stand at the tower if he needs to and kind of block that split push from progressing. But once Solo does get Death's Dance, that's going to go a long ways in kind of the war of attrition for him with all the extra sustain.
Well, not done yet on the items. It's kind of only 2 items on PowerOfEvil, actually, who's getting close to stacking up the roll fully, but isn't there yet, either on the transform of his staff either. On the other side for Dig, 2 items for Varus, 2 items for this Azir, as Leandris has been finished for Phoenix, so going to be feeling pretty good about their chances in a possible 5v5 erupting around the dragon in 30 seconds. You can see Fly already down there with some of their own vision, trying to keep track of mid lane, as the mages in top lane continue to fight each other. As Phoenix now going to have to make his way down because he does not have his teleport. Neither does PowerOfEvil though, so might be a little late to this next engage. Ulti from IgNar, they're onto Aphromoo, but no follow-up there from the Nautilus ulti.
Yeah, they had Solo earlier on the flank, but Lourlo is trailing right behind him, so I think they made the call. We're not all-inning on this. Instead, just kind of kite out that cooldown and return to the dragon. Dignitas here now set up. They've got the support ultimate advantage now since IgNar has no ulti, but PowerOfEvil with a pretty good flank.
Good hook onto Dardoch. There's the hook though on a solo PowerOfEvil though, as you mentioned, did flank around. They ulted from Phoenix, though, he's going to push him through, but Sett, he's able to find the dunk. The kill though onto PowerOfEvil happens as he gets knocked up by Lourlo, and they shred through solo after the dive, so that's a great hook as well. IgNar going to be left for dead here, pops the stone plate to try and buy time for the rest of the squad, but he is just going to fall to Johnsun as Dignitas wins such a clean team fight.
What? Stunned up PoE there. Was that literally just Lourlo charging him into the wall, or was it a Thresh hook? Because there's no point and click here. Maybe it was Johnsun's corrupting chain. We have to watch the replay. PowerOfEvil has flash, so him flanking with the Kassadin, getting locked up there with flash, just brings the whole game down for this team. Kassadin is the heart. Kassadin is everything for FlyQuest, and Dignitas will take the dragon, and they're looking like they want to take the Baron too.
Yeah, Santorin's here. Phoenix so onto Mash is going to get aggressive, but Solo's back in with the TP, and that will force Dig off the Baron. They were trying to turn to get another kill, which I think is pretty appropriate given how short the death time is, but not enough to pick up another one, so they'll be forced off Baron. They'll be forced to reset Zorchus one again. Let's keep track of PoE, Kobe.
So he's got this good flank, back around, behind Johnsun, behind Phoenix. The rest of the team is focused on the dragon. Flash initiation there from IgNar. They have him on the run. Then PoE starts walking over. Is it Johnsun who hits him? Yep, corrupting chain of corruption there from Johnsun into the charge from Lourlo. Yeah, if he's unable to flash over the chain of corruption there, then he just gets annihilated. 100% to 0 on the Kassadin, and after he's dead, FlyQuest, everybody who's left behind is going to have to go down. As you know, this also put Dignitas on Soul Point, being their 3rd Drake. It's just a Cloud Drake, so it's not the most impactful, especially for this team. So it's not like that's the end of the world for FlyQuest or too big of a deal. FlyQuest can still count on 2 more levels for PowerOfEvil. It is super nice for kassadin though, if you would have been able to get that, but it's kind of out of their reach.
Yes. Well, I imagine that we'll try and keep it out of Dig's hands, but that's not really the concern right now. It is this mid lane assault that is happening as Fenix puts up the Sun turret, and they're just looking to crack through here. Fly very late to re-rotate for this tower, so that's just going to fall. That's another space now that Dig can continue to attack. And you mentioned this, Kobe, all the way back down to that first 5v5 in the bottom lane, but watching back that replay, the thing I noticed is another excellent Azir ult from Fenix. Yes, Solo made his way through with the ulti, which is cool. Like, he managed to get through the wall and get into the backline, but he was the only one, especially with PoE, not able to complete the flank. So everyone else is just cut off with the Emperor's Divide. And Dig were able to very easily finish off that fight. As Aphromoo just magnetized to IgNar at this point. He's in the box, he doesn't have flash, he's going to go off to the wall, but Dardoch's going to tag him in the queue, and Fenix will just swoop in to finish him off.
Yeah, just what you were talking about in the fight on bottom, that's why the flank is so important. That's why the kassadin avoiding CC, flashing is so important. But Dignitas will take the opportunity to push it straight through, inhibitor down, Baron up as well. They can retreat, and they've already got plenty of wards through the jungle leading up to Baron. So for Chain of Corruptions, death sentence coming out of the Fog of War now. FlyQuest do have at least the Scuttle Crab, but Santorin gets swept up.
Not the one you want to get picked off here. He's forced to flash, and Johnsun's ulti barely not going to clip the bear. Dardoch. Ooh, he's getting jumped on here. Now the other jungler is dead as PowerOfEvil picks up a big kill for himself.
First kill for kassadin. Seraphs is charged, fully stacked Rod of Ages, looking at level 16. Keep your hopes alive, Pastry, for some kassadin plays later. His flash is still off cooldown, so there's definitely more plays to be had. And FlyQuest going to take that kill on the jungler, start up the Baron, try and bait Dignitas into a bad spot.
Yeah, going to be 4v5 here in the pit. PowerOfEvil with a great looking angle here as well. Dig know they have to kind of commit here, but Fly are looking for that team fight. Already you can see IgNar is tempting fate. Good hook to lands as well. PoE though is going to be spotted by Fenix, but Fly have stayed on the Baron as well. Lourlo going to get the ulti lined up. Going to knock 2 up though, but again, I don't know if they want to fight or get the Baron. Johnsun's going to get the kill on the IgNar, but still 3 of Flyer on the Baron. Solo is getting low. The Baron is dead though as Santorin is able to pick it up, and Fenix is still alive as Johnsun gets the double. Make it 4 as Santorin's now the only one left alive, and Johnsun's able to grab that triple.
Fenix is actually nuts. He has kassadin right behind him, flanking him. He walls away Solo, then slides towards Solo away from the kassadin, flashes out, doesn't die. Dignitas, they're going to just win off of that.
Oh, that's the Chain of Corruption. Santorin going to get out of there, but he's still dead. That's the ace for Johnsun. He gets the delayed quadra kill, and that is going to be another Nexus captured by Dig. 2-0 on the weekend, Kobe, as they fulfill the Bud Light ace. And FlyQuest, another upset loss here as Dignitas are able to take them down.
Dignitas with the Renaissance halfway through the summer split. They sub in Lourlo, then Dardoch, then Fenix, and they pull out a 2-0 week. Coming from the 0-8 team here in the LCS and against strong opponents as well in FlyQuest, that FlyQuest tumbling down the standings now with 2 unexpected losses. 100 Thieves and now Dignitas themselves. That is definitely going to tank their stocks.
Yeah, again, like the fight for second place is no longer something that FlyQuest are currently engaged with. I certainly believe they can make their way back there, but for now, something is going on as the teams are starting to pick things up. And Dig, I think for me, the thing I'm most impressed by is like, this isn't just like 1 or 2 people, you know, going really above and beyond in a game. This is a full team effort. Like, we've talked about how well Johnsun and Aphromoo have been playing together as a duo, and now that they've kind of, I guess, decided on a 5-man roster, and you're starting to see the rest of the pieces come in, like, everyone on Dig is doing work in order to get them over the line against these tough opponents. And picking up FlyQuest is no mean feat, given how good they looked in the early stages of the season.
And I'm definitely feeling the Drake meme for Fenix with Fenix TF. No, Fenix Azir. That's what you need.
All right, well, we'll get a little bit more about that. But the Tigers are standing right now to hear from the Victoria.